when it comes to like all the things like management and agents, I think that those things became overwhelming for me too, because it does become really difficult to trust what everyone's job is. And even though you can feel like, all these musicians have, like, they have a band and they have a publicist and they have all these different things, you might not need all those different things. And like, also you have to think about if that person's actually adding value. Because one thing that I've been like the victim of basically is being involved. Like I did Pledge, and all that money just, they took it.
Oh no, you got caught up in the Pledge music scandal?
My whole last album.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much money, but like, basically
God.
I had already sent out the merch, sent out everything. But I started going like, why did I feel like I needed, like, one way that they pitched me was they were like, we're going to be, because I had said, I don't really want to do like a Kickstarter. I want it to be more of like, they were going to do these things to help promote it and whatever. Anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, all they were really doing was becoming the middleman. They weren't really adding a lot of value. And so they were able to sort of just like take my money, and they didn't just take their percentage, they took all of it. But
they took all of it.
They took all of it. But I really think you have to be careful of that in the music business, because there's a lot of people that are like, I'm a consultant, I need a percentage. Do they need a percentage? Do you just pay them an upfront fee? And you can decide what you're comfortable with.
Yes.
And you can say no. Like, I've also felt like different times people will be like, well, this is what, a guitar player usually gets paid at what. And that's great that they are able to say, this is what I deserve. But you can also say as an artist, well, I can only afford to pay this much. And if you don't want to do it, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, or can we meet in the middle? You just like everyone, I think as an artist, you do want to please people, but you have to say like, but what can I actually afford to give up here? And is the person I'm paying adding a ton of value? Maybe it's worth it for that very special guitar player to pay them their thing. Maybe it probably is, or maybe it's not. Maybe you don't need as big a band as you thought you did for a show at Hotel Cafe, I think standing up for, like, remembering that there are no rules. You're literally making them. Maybe you only pay your manager 10%, and that's your rule, because that's the amount of value they bring.
I mean,
I know that sounds mean, or not. It doesn't. No, look at me. I'm like, oh, that's mean. But 10% is standard in acting.
Right.
So
that's the thing. It's like there are no rules.
There's no rules. So you get to decide, and maybe you don't know what they are yet, but that's where like having friends and asking and like your book are so important.
And that's the thing. I mean, like, we're constantly reinventing the standards every day and creating new standards. And, there are people who, it came out a few years ago that Bruno Mars and I think even Taylor Swift fired their entire management companies and just hired a staff. And it was like, instead of paying a commission, it's like, I'm just going to hire a staff to do these jobs and roles. Why not? Especially when you're at that level. It's like, you're going to pay someone a very fair wage salary. And, people would kill for those jobs and positions. It's like, why give up 10, 20%, whatever, when you can pay them a very fair salary? Like, that's an argument too. And it's just because some things have been done a certain way forever doesn't mean they need to still be done that way. Yeah. And that's what's kind of exciting, but also very challenging and confusing about the music industry right now.